think of like me being the awareness instead of I'm like, all right, I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm awareness. I like kind of float back out of my body, go up there. But this all like happens in like a split second, and so I'm like in this place, like a kind of like outer space and void, and it's like I'm just this light body, this floating light awareness.
Bro, if I could see things in my mind, I would not live in life. I'm for real.
Like, it's hard.
You understand?
That's why I daydream a lot.
When I was younger, I was always accused of daydreaming because I do daydream, but I daydream in written form like a book. That's why I want to write a book. That's how I think. So my brain goes, okay. I used to literally be like, if I could really see back when I was daydreaming, bitch, fuck reality. I thought that was like literally like a movie thing. I thought that was no fucking way that was real. Like, I just can't believe that's real. People really out here seeing shit when they say I sell out of my mind. Like, honestly, it makes me feel like every time or someone's like, you see that? Then be like, damn, I'm a liar. I should have said, no, I ain't saw shit this whole time. I want to know. Had I not lied to make people happy?
But only estimated 2 to 5% of the population.
That shit. I'm just saying there's too many things that I test on that tell me I'm a rare percentage. I probably shouldn't be here. The personality test, that's true.
Like, you're literally not human, Starseed. Hi, hello. That's why we felt out of place our whole life.
The humans. The humans.
Anyways, running theories. Oh, we're starting it today. Alright, guys, so earlier we were hanging up the new tapestry we got. She's very lovely, isn't she? All the chakras. All that nice stuff. She's a little cut off, but there's 2 more. Yeah. Walk in here, and I was like, oh, let me go get some more tacks to hang it up. And I went to go search the drawer that they're normally in, and I was like, they're not in here. I feel like I left them in the room last time. And I walked in here, and sure enough, they were in here. So, and then we get on the topic of
memory and how memory banks work. So I explained to her that she had said she often gets in thing. This is a normal thing for people, especially with ADHD. It's very known where they get these cleaning like fits. You know, you see something out of place, you start cleaning it, and then you're like cleaning. Okay, so that doesn't work for me. That doesn't happen for me at all. When I see something somewhere that's misplaced, I often just catalog where it is and continue on my life. As if I can't move it, as if that is just a new designated area, and that's just where it is, and that's where it goes. My brain doesn't think of it. It just happens that way, where somebody will be like, oh, I'm trying to look for this, and I'll remember where it is. It could be underneath a table somewhere, and people will be like, why didn't you pick that up when you saw it?
See, I'm the person that's like, where is this all the time? And Brittany's like, oh, it's here. And I'm like, how do you know this?
Exactly. Like, my brain catalogs things I see. And even if I'm not consciously, like, paying attention to it, it just catalogs the area it is. Or, like, kind of what it looked like. It just catalogs. It just a little like, oop, that's where it is. It's literally like, I thought about this the other day. Sometimes it literally feels like I forget I can move things. And I literally am just like, well, that's where that thing, that item is. My brain does that
with faces and people, though. The memorization, like a catalog on it. Like, I can see a face one time, and like if I see that person again, it'll take me a while, but I can remember where exactly.
When you close your eyes and you imagine me, you see me?
Yes!
What? What?
No. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yes, I can see you.
I closed my eyes, I said, Dom. Nothing showed up.
An outline.
Not even an outline.
Damn.
Literally nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, not a singular thing happens with my vision. Like, I see absolutely nothing. Nothing changes with my vision. When I think of how I would describe you. See, my brain works like a book.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I think Dom, my brain starts going, glasses, nose ring, blue hair. It starts telling me how you look.
Mm-hmm.
So my brain's like, I hear like the
it's like you're blind in your mind. Oh my
Maybe that's the brain
god.
damage. Maybe that's the brain damage I think I have. Okay. Don't quote me on this. I want to go to the doctor and get this tested because
Probably should.
I really do think there's some brain damage there. Here's the reason, and I feel like anyone, medical professional or not, would agree that this makes sense. Okay. Now I do have a habit of making everything make sense. I'm just a good communicator. I don't know. However,
You do make a lot of sense.
anyway, I convince myself.
But I feel like you're right a good portion of the time.
I try to be. But, so I'm just saying, right, let's go back 26 years ago. Before I was born, my mom was in the hospital. No, that's a lie. I was born. I was a few weeks old. A few weeks old.
Starts telling a story, forgets the story she's telling. Oh, hold up. That's not right.
Wrong memory was logged. I was going into her labor story. Wrong memory.
Alright.
Okay, so I was a few weeks old. Or a few months, I don't know if I can remember. I was not coherent. I was an infant. Anyways, got really bad yellow jaundice. Didn't eat and do nothing right. Turned orange, dead ass. Well, my dad calls me Cheeto. Yeah, fun fact. Because I was so orange. They brought me to the hospital. At the hospital, they told my mom I probably would not live. I was gonna die. If I lived, I would be confined to a wheelchair, couldn't talk, couldn't speak. I'd be like vegetable, like state mind. It don't make sense that I was born. I speak way too much. I move around, not great, but I move. I don't got no real problems. I mean, I'm mobile. That don't make sense. You told me I was gonna, if I lived, I would be brain dead, but I come out like this?
Like you were literally
finished nursing school
to be here.
I used to think that I was straight out by fairies as an infant.
You also believed you were a Rougarou at one point.
And valid reasons why I thought that, bro. Like, okay. The fairy thing makes more sense than the Rougarou. No, because listen. So the theory with the changing is that they would switch out these dying babies and replace them in the hospital or in the dying house. You know, back in the day it was the house, but they didn't have hospitals. But they would switch them out for an older like fairy, so that the fairy could live in this like human life as like a human, pretending to be the humans like experience that before they died. It was like the theory. So these like fairies would take the dying child and then would like try to raise them when they were like trying to like heal them. Okay, so my theory at the time that I learned about them, okay, I watched the movie, so then I had to research because I was like, it's like, what if that's my obsession with like fairies and stuff? I was like, I believe anything at this point.
Honestly,
I believe anything in anything. Whatever.
I believe a lot of stuff, and
I'm open to it.
Yeah, I'm like, you sold me on it. Like, I'm like, okay.
I'm like, is it?
All right.
Not. I mean,
like, probably not, but like, maybe it's a possibility.
It's more possible, in my opinion.
And like, and also your other running theory of like you and Brittany being goddesses, whatever, in the next life. Like, what if goddess fairy essentially the same thing? And Brittany also had jaundice and like almost died as a baby. I wonder if I almost died as a baby. Maybe I'm not special, but.
I wish I knew what Brittany's level was. I mean, this is going to be like way talking over anyone's head that has no idea about medical stuff. But the normal level at like a high level is like 12 or something like that. Like, people be freaking out when the kids come into like 15. It's like a big like red flag bomb. It's like 36. First off, 36 has followed me my whole life. That's fucking weird. I still live on exit 36, have my entire life. My bus, when I lived in Ponchatoula for 1 year, bus 36. Born at 12:36. Thank you.
That's all the validation I needed.
That's what I'm saying. Because it's been confusing me my whole life. Before I was spiritual, I was like, what's the 36?
Bro, the universe speaks to you.
Yeah, 36 is following me.
Do you see 333 though? I see a lot of angel numbers.
I see a lot of angel numbers, but not 3s or 6s. Even though I see 36 everywhere.
I used to see 333 a ton. I don't see it as much anymore. More, it's like 1 1, 2 2 2, 4 4 4 a lot.
4 4
5 5 5 recently. But even at like a few months ago, it was like 888-999, and I was just like, what is going on?
That's fair. Yeah, I've had
That's
some
some
weird,
random
like,
numbers. So let's talk about the Akasha. Akashic
yes.
records.
So I really need to like delve further so I can like.
I know very little about this.
I know
I got it in one of my polls one time.
a little more than you, but not much at all. My reference point is I never really dove into it because I just didn't feel like it was part of my current journey because a lot of it is about like people tap into a lot for like past life stuff. There's other knowledge you get there, but that's like a lot of people talk about, especially on TikTok. So I that wasn't what I was currently fixated on because I was like one day, but right now it's not what I need to focus on, so I didn't really get into it too much.
I kind of felt the same thing when I got the poll. It was like,
I was like, yes,
accessing knowledge sounds awesome. I feel like I need to heal current stuff this life first before I take on the generational.
You know, I said that exact words, and now that I'm hearing you say it, I'm understanding why I probably like have been avoiding the records for no reason. Because
or a big reason.
Well, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I said that exact same thing, and because I'm hearing it, I almost responded back with how I responded and was saying it, which is, but if you're tapping into your old knowledge, you want you remember more to help you with what you currently need to heal from. Are there things that we could already have healed from, but we're not learning our knowledge because we're too scared to tap into it?
Oh my god!
Okay, so with that in mind, because I never thought about it like that. But if you're getting this past knowledge, you're gonna remember things that you already learned.
Goosebumps.
Feels like you've already learned that thing that you're struggling with. Like, cause there could be something I'm struggling with really fucking hard that I already learned before. I'm just not remembering it. And if you tap into that knowledge, you know it.
And if you're able to access the Akasha,
You learn it all. You can slowly like get it all and have your like.
Or maybe it's just the fact that like time doesn't exist, so it's more so anybody can access the Akasha.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the theory, that technically anyone can. Some are just easier than others, I guess is the other thing.
Right.
Everything in life, usually anyone can do it, it's just building up a skill or whatever the fuck it is. So, the theory with the Akasha is that it
can
is...
you astral travel to the Akasha?
I think so.
Man.
Because I remember learning something about it, but the biggest thing I really learned, because I didn't enter it in law, was because I didn't understand really what it's supposed to be. So basically it's just in this like dimensional realm at the highest, so it has all of the other dimensional like stuff there, and no time exists there, so everything is accessible there. Past, present, future is all accessible there. So that's why it's so important. Where if you can tap into it, you're really tapping into some crazy information because you can learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that people that have like who are considered like psychic, who have those type of things, they are people who subconsciously tap into the Akashic records because that's just what their soul contract is.
Okay.
So exactly. So they think that deja vu means that in that dream you did go to the Akashic records and come back and you already saw this because you went to the records. So there's a lot of theories for like the deja vu.
Or deja vu is just like you've lived that life before and have been in that exact moment in that exact place doing that.
That or life. One time I've had the theory of I had a theory that deja vu could possibly be like when you're presented with a situation where the different timeline versions of you are conflicting in what you do. So you're like experiencing it in fragments instead of at one, because it's like one of the version of you didn't do what you're about to do. So it's fragments.
And that's where the fork in the road is. Whoa!
That's the theory I came to one day.
Oh, that's a cool theory.
I was like, what if that's it? Because what really made me think about it was I was tripping, and I went to do something, and I paused, and I was like, deja vu. And when I looked down at my hand, I swear to God, I saw different things that I was about to do, and I had to like choose which pathway. It was weird. And I never had that experience like tripping before, but like that's what really sold it to me. Where I was like, that's something I never experienced. So I asked Sam about it after like a different day. I was like, have you ever had this experience? And he explained he's had a similar experience where he could see what was about, like what the options were to do before he did it. And I've asked Wes, and Wes said the same thing. I've had multiple people say like, no, I saw the options and which one.
Marshall's probably done it too, and Marshall's also told me one time and I didn't believe this until this moment. I just like totally tread off and thought too, thinking that I was like, whoa, while listening to you, but like we were tripping, the same beach trip in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
he was off like, I don't know, like 3, 4 times.
He was in a place.
Yeah. So he's sitting there on the porch right in front of, or the balcony of the hotel, whatever. And we all went to walk to McDonald's to get some food. And he's sitting there like playing with his fidget spinner, and he said he was like staring into it, and like all of a sudden, literally like astral projected and was like watching us all walk to McDonald's, like literally in real life, real time, saw us. And I was like, okay, bro, like what do you mean?
Yeah, no
like,
one
there's like
before you
no
like
level of spirituality yet, and no level of like that stuff.
I never believed that shit. I thought people were just making up shit.
I was like, dude, you're crazy. And then I'm like, oh my god, that's cool. I want to do that. And then I do it, and I'm like,
yeah, everything comes with a price.
Ooh, that was scary.
Every ability comes with a price. Flip side of the coin, yin yang. That's what I've learned. Any ability you tap into, there's negatives with it. It's like so good at segueing. Anyways, to segue, ADHD. Right, everyone considers that such a negative mindset. You know, like it's something that like when you're a kid, they're treating you for it because it's something that's destructive, right?
Right.
But man, in my opinion, it's literally just an ability. I think that people with ADHD, like their mind is literally like time travelers. Their mind can slow things down because you think so fast. You can slow things down too if you can build that. And like me and Sam were talking about that because you know, he was talking about his brain, and he was like, "How didn't you see this?" We're talking about this curve that we were coming up on, and he's like, "How didn't you see?" I'm like, "Well, it just was so fast." And he was like, and he like broke it. He was explaining how much like he was like, no, and he was explaining how like his mind worked so fast that he could slow down. So he knew that the curve was right there, like way before I did, because I saw it, and it took me longer to process what I was seeing. And I was like, oh, it's so weird. And he's like, and so we were talking about how like, you know, when you're ADHD, like there you can like you don't realize that you're comparing it to someone that you're able to slow stuff down. You know, like if we were both driving in a car right now, someone was driving us, we were both able to just stare outside of it. When we're driving past, you don't realize that you're slowing down your brain so that you could read the mailbox numbers as we're passing them. But I would struggle hard as fuck with that because my brain's, I'm not able to slow it down. I'm seeing it in real speed. So like it's fast, yeah. Your brain literally is working fast, so you can slow it down and see things you don't even realize you're doing it. It's like an ability.
Wait,
it's cool.
When you're driving, really?
Yeah, like I have to really be like trying. Like it's hard because it's fast. The car's moving fast. Yeah, that's what Rosa. He was like, I was like, yeah, I was like.
My only challenge with that is if I'm actually too blind to see it.
Well,
but like I'm truly just very hard of seeing. So, but wow,
yeah. And we were talking about like with like dog bite, for instance. Like I got a dog bite before we talked about this. This is before I ever thought about it. And just made me think about it. Where when I got the dog bite, he was like, "You can't see him comfy." I said, "It was so fast." It was just like so weirded out, but I'm like, it happened so fast. Like my brain had no time to process. 1 second he was here, and the next second he had my hand. But like that, like Sam, for instance, like most people I know that ADHD, they're pretty quick to like move. Like they're very fast with this because their brain's already processing it way faster than the person next to them. Your brain works at a way faster.
So is the reaction time quicker?
Usually. Because you're faster at picking up. Like, your brain literally works at a faster capacity than mine ever can. I will never be able to do that because that's not how my brain works. Your brain literally works faster.
So is that why I am picking up on jujitsu a lot faster than some people?
I think that probably adds to it, yeah, because like you're able to like really process. Well, also because I like, you know, I talk about like ADHD, I feel like I'm like able to think of things in a different perspective. You know, like you're able to fully see things. It's not flat. So because it's not flat, I feel like that also helps you with like learning your special interests because you can hyper focus. And as soon as you start hyper focusing, you're able to look at all these different perspectives. So you're able to like, I feel like when jujitsu, it would come in handy because without even thinking, like consciously thinking about it, your brain's thinking about how it could look at all these different perspectives to know what would work better. Whereas
when I'm watching a demo on the mats of like the coaches showing how to do a move, I'm watching them while simultaneously in my head putting myself in that position and imagining how it would feel to work my body in the position that they're in.
I would love if my brain worked that way. I told Sam, I was like, you don't realize.
It's a blessing and a curse though, because sometimes I like will imagine myself doing what they just showed, but I miss the rest of the demo because
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that everything's
And then
got
I
pros
go
and
with my drilling
cons.
partner and I'll start it and I'm like, what are we doing?
I feel like it's one of those like yin and yang. There's pros and cons. You just got to learn how to navigate it. That's what we were talking about. I was like, oh, I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna get real good. I'm like, do it. Be the best thinker you can be.
I love that.
Max out that. Like, do that. And everyone, like, I'm saying, every thought process, there's a benefit and a reason that it was put into your system.
I mean, I feel like it'd be pretty freaking beneficial to be able to walk around and note where things are and constantly remember where shit. I'm constantly forgetting where things
that's
are.
fair.
You know how many times I like
fair.
lose my phone in my house?
Yeah, it happens. But the problem with always remembering, well, oftentimes remembering where random things are set is it because I can pretty easily remember where things are usually set. It's not an automatic to pick things up and place them where they belong. So while it's not inconvenient usually to me, it's very inconvenient when you live with people or you're around people because I remember where it is. They don't. So now, like one of the issues, like we had like living with Sam was that like he was always like when he saw something he'd pick it up because it bothers him. I would just note that it was there and continue on. So then it became where he always felt like he was having to pick up and I was never picking up. It was just because my brain literally didn't think to because it doesn't come, I don't have to think about it because I know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I literally don't even think. Like literally, I saw something the other day. I noted it. I started walking along and I said, wait. I said, why are you noting that? Why not just pick it up right now? Trying to like stop that. So like, you need to like do that.
Because it is just a habit.
Yeah, because it's just like, I just never had a need to have to pick it up and put it somewhere. So I've always been away.
You can learn the balance. It's like some items, it's like, do I really need to pick it up and put it somewhere? No.
Yeah. That's like when I was younger. When I was younger, I always got in trouble for it.
Because there's certain items that like have places.
Yeah, and there's some that's like really don't. But
and so if it's got a place where it's always in, it's easier to remember. If it's not in that place, I'm like, oh my god, where is it? And I'll start looking for it and overlook it so easily. And Brittany's like, did you even look? Because it's right here. And I'm like, yes, I looked.
That's an ADHD thing. Sam does the same thing. He literally went and bought a new vape and then found his right on the counter.
I love him.
Like neither of us saw it, bro. Like I didn't really look too much. I had my glasses off and it was dark in there, but like he was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Bro,
ADHD things."
Yeah, like I just feel like I don't know. That's like we were telling Sam like we look very like talk about how we look for things. We're comparing our brains. I'd love to compare brains with people. It's so fun, but so we
comparing our brains is hilarious.
Well, I'll tell you what my favorite pastime is. It's gonna sound weird. One of my favorite pastimes is giving myself and someone else a meaningless task to see what we do. Because we behave so differently. Like we just do things differently, and it's just fun to watch people. So like it can be as stupid as like, "Hey, can you go get me a drink?" And I just watch what they do, and it's like, "Huh, that's so weird. I don't do it that way." Like it's just the comparison of it's weird. I don't know why. I like autism. I love watching people like comparing it and just be like, what is like, why are you? I just like to see how their brain thinks. Sometimes I ask a question that I know is completely batshit and hold my smile in so I can get the reaction. I know that's the autism. Sometimes I'll say things that I just know, like maybe look like a fucking moron. I love those.
I mean, I might do that to my mom.
See, I have this thing where like I really want to be considered smart. And I have this big fear of being considered dumb, but there's a part of me that thinks it's really funny to make people think I'm dumb. So like sometimes I'll say something that's really stupid, like, and I'll know it's stupid as fuck when I'm saying it, but it's just to get the reaction. And like one time, like in the shed, I was high as fuck, and we were sitting there and we were all talking about something. I think they were talking about like fucking they're watching that motorcycle show. Mm-hmm. Like the fictional gang one. But so they're watching that. And I said something, and I wish I knew what exactly I said, but I remember I said something about motorcycles and it was stupid. Like I mean like anyone knows that that's not like how motorcycles work. And I just said it with a straight face and I was like, and they just looked at me and I was like, they're like, are you seriously asking that right now? I was like, why? Am I dumb? Like in my head, I'm like I don't know why I do things laugh. It's entertainment. It's entertainment. Yeah, no. My brain's really weird. I'll say things just to see what people say.
Why is that entertaining?
Because, like, it's so funny. Like, imagine if I just sat here and
Well, I mean, I guess I do weird shit in my own way like that, but what the fuck?
Like, because imagine if, like, okay, do you not think it'd be funny if you sat down and you were like, listen, so me and Brady started seeing this new bitch, and you told me this whole story, maybe and tell me about she's crazy as fuck. I mean, just to get my reaction, you just be like, what the fuck? And just like, and then be like, no, I'm just fucking with you.
Okay, like I've done that before.
Something about it's funny.
But did you tell them in the show that you were just messing around, or did you still let people believe it and not say anything?
It depends.
See, that's weird. I'll let them know I'm fucking with them because I don't want them to think that.
Sometimes I don't want them to think I'm too smart. It benefits being a little dumb in this world. I've learned that in my 26 years.
It does.
Sometimes being smart. I always want to be considered smart until I realized that if you're that smart, you can't fuck up. People don't want you to fuck up because you're too smart for that. Fuck that. I'm dumb. I try my best, but I'm dumb. I make mistakes.
It's like I know a lot of things, but a lot of shit I don't.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, Because every time I was like, I'm so smart, I know everything. When you know everything, you should act like you know everything.
I'm smart because I know I make mistakes and I learn from them.
Yeah.
But I'm not. But I still make mistakes.
Just hit someone. Sometimes I'll let myself make. That's a big problem. Okay, so tell me this is autism or this is everybody. Because this is something that really got me thinking. So, whenever you're making a bad decision, like you're gonna be like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that mistake. Never do that again. When you're in the mindset of you're about to do it, is every part of you like, let's do it. This is a good idea. Fuck it. I don't care. Or is there a part of you that's like, this is gonna be really fun to see how this plays out. I guess it's a character arc. You ever do that? Because that's what my brain does. Like when I do something, like when I did something that wasn't like I slept with someone I really didn't mean to. I really shouldn't have. I'll say. The whole time I was making a decision to do it, in my head, I was like, damn, she's really making this decision right now. I was like, all right. So I guess we'll see how this develops. There must be some type of character development happening here. Because I don't know. She ain't listening to me say no. Is that an autism thing, a DID thing, or a me thing? I mean,
I feel like
when Sam and I broke up, even though I was emotionally feeling a lot, in my head, what was going on, this is why I think it might be the autism, because in my head, what was going on,
I guess I don't truly understand.
What was going on when we broke up was, this feels like shit. I can't wait to see me in a couple weeks. I'm gonna be so fucking cool. Like there's just a character switch. Like I'm about to do something. That's what happens in the pattern.
That's an autism thing, I guess, with recognizing that pattern.
Because I'm like, every time someone has a breakup, it makes you better. So I'm just like, it's okay. Like,
right. So I don't. I'm just like, oh my god, this feels so fucking horrible. I hate it. I don't want to die.
That's why I feel like it's easier for me to process some things. Not all things, because I'm pretty bad at when I don't want to process something, I throw it in the back and try to forget about it.
I'm completely shocked by how quickly and easily Brittany processes some things
it's just
that takes me so long to figure out. And I'm like,
some things it's just
you couldn't have let me in on that.
Yeah, some things it just clicks in faster. Because I'm just like, I can do that very easily. Where like I say, like sometimes I am so in the vessel that it's like it feels like I'm in the Sims game, and then sometimes I remember that I'm playing the Sim. You are. And then sometimes I remember that actually I'm just watching, and that is the tricky part. That's what happens when those situations happen. When I'm feeling a lot, I immediately go into that remembering I'm the awareness, and I'm just like watching. I'm like, oh, look at her. This is that part of the movie. I say that a lot. This is that part of the movie. Like, I was crying, listening to music. I said, damn, this is a good part of the movie. I always love these parts. It's emotional.
Ew, why are we like this? It's the Pisces milk!
I love it now. When I'm crying, I'll be sitting there, I'm just like, I love this part of the movie. Yeah, I'm just like, God, this really is something. This is good. I look back on. This is why I do that a lot. Anytime I go through something,
I have started developing that habit of doing that now, though. Being like, oh, I'm going through some rough shit. It's just a wave. I'm going to be back up on top soon. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm manifesting things into my life, and I have to be willing to feel the opposite
I've been telling myself too.
of
That's what I've been telling
whatever
myself.
I'm manifesting. Because if I want to have healthy relationships with people, I'm gonna feel lonely for a while I cut off toxic friendships and relationships and build healthy new ones.
And if you want to one day have money, you got to be broke for a while. That's where I'm at.
Exactly. You know,
I literally almost gave in.
It's yin and yang.
I literally almost gave in and got a real job. I almost gave in and got a real job because I was like, damn, like it really would be kind of nice to have like a stable, I know, like X amount like per week, and like you know, like really analyze like that. But I'm like, I don't want that. I only want that right now because I don't have the funds coming in the way I want.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
but you're
I have
on your
to
way
get
to
there.
creating it.
That's what I keep reminding myself. I'm like, dude, like you gotta have this moment because if you don't, you're never gonna build it. Like I have to start somewhere.
Because I don't have that normal regular job, and like for a while it was touch and go, creating that income and getting, you know, stable clients and stuff and bookings, and you know, or selling certain snakes and you know, making it to where I knew I was going to have this many litters per year, whatever. So you just gotta ride out this time because soon you're going to have an abundance of wealth without having to go work a job.
That's what I keep telling myself. And like, I started doing like affirmation. Like obviously I've always done like affirmation. I've always done like the classic, like, I am abundant, I am prosperous, I am a wealthy. But
no, I do personalized.
I changed it. Well, I try to do more personal now, but recently, like especially when I DoorDash, when I'm like waiting on an order, like I started doing where I'm like I attract money. So I go, I attract money. Money is obsessed with me. Money loves me. Money won't leave me alone. Money keeps finding me, and I keep doing it until the order comes through. Or I'm just like no, doesn't matter. I'm like, even when I don't need it, money drops to me abundantly. Money doesn't leave me alone. Like I'm just like, money loves me.
Literally, I love that. You know that TikTok you posted, the guy who did the spiritual twist rap on "Good Day," that song. I have it memorized. I sing it like every single day.
I thought about it.
I put that song on every single day. I haven't played it yet today, but I will. I will when I go to practice later on. I promise you. I love it. It's just like, I don't work for money. Money works for me. I am beautiful, wise, I am safe, and I am free. Repetition and consistency is surely how you get it. At any given moment, you are living what you're thinking. So the 3D shit you're talking is redundant. It's time to change the channel and tune into your abundance with your third eye open. It'll help you perceive because you're a lot more powerful than you've been led to believe. See, that body that you're driving is a magnet. And by the law of attraction, anything you can have it. And the higher you vibe, the more you attract it. Just add a little belief and it comes like magic. Woo! And I'm like, I like made myself memorize that because like, so that way, even when I can't turn the song on, I can literally just like sing that to myself, and I'll find myself singing it throughout the day, and I'm just like, and it really does like change up my entire mood and perspective. Straight up raises my vibrations. I'm like, Johnny Appleseed, thank you. No, it's Johnny Starseed. That's how I remember his TikTok name. I love him. I think that's what it is.
That reminded me. So like, I'm very big on like, you never where you're in a bad mood and you're like, I don't want to sit in this like mood. So do you ever turn on like music that makes you feel good to force the good mood?
Yeah.
Right.
To raise vibrations.
Yeah. You ever done it to someone you're like, that was kind of weird? Or like the song choice was odd?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I've done it different times. A good one, Sunday best. It's fun. It's fun. You dance. Looking good in my Sunday best. Mm-hmm. But I've played any song that I thought would work. So I've played. My favorites was "Pony" by Genuine. And imagine crying your eyes out to that.
I mean, I feel that go because I'll like put on some of Gates' like more emotional music, and where he's like going in and talk about his feelings. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. I'll cry to this.
See, well, same opposite. I'll turn on music and make myself so I don't cry. That's what it is. If I'm trying to stop it. So like, if I want to cry, I will turn on music to make me cry. Like I will.
Do you know how many times I've cried to "Supposed to Be in Love"? I used to scream, cry rapping that after Britney left me. I cannot rap twice in 2 episodes. I'm literally not allowed. I can't even do it.
I try to force however I want to behave on what I take in musically, especially now. I realized I always did that. Yeah. I realized I always did that, but I didn't realize I was doing it. So, like, right after the breakup, I feel like it kind of helped me, and this is funny, but what I feel like kind of helped just with my headspace was I was literally listening to Ashnico. And, like, it's kind of hard not to feel like a bad bitch when you listen to Ashnico.
But it's also, it doesn't give you, like, the attitude that you need.
Working does. A working bitch ain't got no time for dick. I do got time for dick, but we ain't got time for dick. We're working. It's keeping me on my hustle. I'm about to be hustler this year. I'm about to make money this year.
Yeah, that's better to focus on. That's what you can get dick later when you have money.
Exactly. So that song I'm gonna listen to a lot because I feel like it's gonna slowly convince me to be a work bitch. Because I'm not a work bitch. Fucking hate working. If it were up to me, I would get money for existing.
Me too. Honestly, if it were up to me, money wouldn't fucking exist, and we'd all just like help each other.
I was swinging on the swing this earlier, and I was swinging. I was like, it would be great if my day consisted of me swinging on this swing, eating fruit with somebody, playing music. Mm-hmm. Why can't that be today?
Why can't I go over to people that are just playing guitar and whatever, and singing, hanging out for the day, do that for the day. One day wake up and decide you want to go down and canoe in the river with some friends.
That's my goal.
Like, bro, what?
That's my goal. I refuse to turn 30 and live in this bullshit life.
No, I actually,
I have
like a week or so ago, I was like, I think in my 30s, I want to make it a goal to like actively start setting up the commune and that lifestyle. So like, if you're about it, I'm about it. Let's go.
Because I told someone, I said, there's only a few things I know about the future because I don't think about it. I'm at the point where I'm just like, why waste too much time thinking about it? So I just think about what I would like to do.
I really don't either. I'm just
pointless.
like, it's like,
why not live in the future?
It's like you do to an extent, but like the people that are just like sitting there constantly just building and working towards something for their future, it's like, I don't know, like to a certain extent, like there's balance is needed in everything. Is what I'm learning recently in life.
Well,
like, you can't just have
balance is needed in everything, but the problem with spending too much time working on your future too investedly is that you forget that every single day you're evolving. So at one point, that future you built was the future that you wanted 7 years ago. Because I became a nurse because of that. I wanted to watch out for my future self. No, I'd be able to have a job. I want to do these different things. And in hindsight, I went through bullshit. Not even in that career anymore. And at the end, I'm like, sure, there's some knowledge I could have learned on myself. Right. I taught myself, basically. It's not like someone teaches you. They just give you the information, you retain it. You learn how to retain it. You teach yourself, like, especially with stuff like that. And so I'm just like, okay, I did this to play for my future. And then a few years into that job, realized that, like, this was the dream of a 17-year-old who didn't know what she wanted to do in life and just didn't want to be a failure. This isn't the actual life I wanted. And then I didn't know what life I fucking wanted because I spent too much time thinking about what I wanted 7 years ago. It's so weird.
That's kind of how, like, all of my entrepreneur jobs that I did, like, just never, always planning for the future, but, like, never really had any real motivation to even put the work in because, like, I knew it wasn't what I really wanted. And, like, even with snake breeding, like, I was super passionate about that and really enjoyed it for a while. But once I realized that, like, you're keeping these beautiful live animals in these boxes to just breed them and sell the babies and trade them with other breeders, basically as Pokemon cards. And, like, I didn't have that many snakes. Right. I have buddies that like couple hundreds, couple thousands. And of course they have people helping them in the facilities, but like, dude, they have animals die all the time.
Yeah, it's like
you can't give the level of care that they really need, but also you're not like actually holding them. They're not social. So like a lot of the snakes that I bought that were adults were not friendly. And I was like,
They weren't
dude, I
around.
don't want to get bit. I'm not gonna hold them. So there were snakes that I have that I don't hold that will try to bite you if you try to hold them because they're just scared and have
Yeah.
never been held by humans. And then I have some that I can, hold and kiss on the head because I've held them since they were babies. But it got to the point where I had 50 and I didn't have enough time to hold all of them.
Yeah.
And I just, morally, it's not what I wanted. And I was evolving.
Yeah, I
And
could see how that would be
I
like.
was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, because
And
so
now I have like
really think about it. You're like
13 left, but I have a pregnant one right now. I'm super excited for that litter. It's gonna be cool. But really, I have Dominic's litter and 3 others that I'm gonna do after this pregnant female. So 5 litters, and I'm done. We'll probably end up being around like 100 babies.
that is so many babies.
Give or take, yeah. And it'll probably be less than that because they're all going to be new homes. But anyways,
That's crazy.
Snake breeding.
You ever think? Okay, there's this fucking movie I just watched last night called Big Bug on Netflix. Have you seen it?
No.
I don't know why it's called. Well, I guess I kind of get why it's called Big Bug, but it's in the future. Well, I'm just right. It's in the future. AI is like everywhere. It's like super advanced. And there are humans, and this certain type of like AI has become advanced enough that it's taking over. Essentially, I think people who saw this and like, sure, what the fuck you talking about? But my point in bringing up the movie was there was this like part in the movie where they were showing these android, like these robots, AI had humans on leashes. And it makes me, and it trips me up because like I think about that for any animal. Think about it, like flip the animal with the human there, and you're like, that's what lets you know when we don't treat an animal right. Because if you treat an animal right, you'd be like, okay, I don't mind switching. Like a golden retriever of a rich family, I'll be a golden retriever of a rich family every day. But if that golden retriever was treated badly, I don't want to be that animal. So why are we doing that? Like, it's really interesting, but it really does make you think. Like, it makes you
Bro,
think
if
so
I was
weird.
stuck in a cage like that, I'd be miserable.
No, I feel bad for Dominic. You know, I want Dominic to have a huge tank because I just feel like he wants something so much bigger.
Right? I want to build like specialized enclosures.
Yeah,
for
I'm like,
myself.
I
That's
want
why
to
I
have a
only want to
huge
have
tank.
like personally, once I'm done with the breeding, I have probably like 4 or 5 like dream genetic combo snakes that I've learned about since being in the hobby and like that I really want to produce and keep the prettiest one for myself. So I want to have probably like 5 boas max because they live up to 30 years if you care for them properly. Dude, that's a third of your life. So I don't want to have that many of them, and I want to be able to build these big enclosures.
I'm just thinking about how I'm gonna be like, if I do it right.
Because at that point, if I had a habitat that I was living in, it was properly, my health was good and everything, yeah, I'd be down to switch. Just not have to hunt for my food, have it fed to me, have a nice big water, a nice
that's what
humid
saying, like, that's what I'm
enclosure.
saying.
Like at that point,
my thing is,
I'd be about it.
I want to, my goal, and I like, especially when I move, I can kind of fixate things. Like, I don't ever want, now that I'm, first I am now, I don't ever want animals if I can't give them the life that I would want if I were them. Because that's the problem I have with animals. Is like, even the animals I currently have, I've cried over my animals multiple times because I feel like they deserve better than what they currently have. And I'm just like, what? So I'm just like, I can't.
I don't know about that. Caspius and Ozar are living the freaking life over here. They're spoiled as hell.
Benji's something.
Benji's crazy.
Benji's a little thief.
I don't think I've ever I think I've seen Benji like in person like 2 times.
She's really sweet now.
She never is out.
She's scared of people. She's got a lot of anxieties, but she's gotten better now that I have people over a little more often.
You know, they say that animals reflect their owners.
Yeah, that's why I said she's better now. You know, they're like, I'm like, oh, she's fine. She was just really scared back in the day, so she had like a rough upstart. So did I. But like, she's been great now. Like, she goes and like, she'll go and like let people like pet her, like strangers.
Good for her.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, look at you.
The growth.
I'm like, she's doing so good. I think I've watched this many times, but I think she was like an ancient Egyptian like pharaoh.
Have you played that TikTok sound where it's like,
No, I saw it. I was going to. I
"Ready,
totally
so
forgot.
worship." You should
Because
totally
like
do it.
I've thought about that. I'm like, I've always said that even when I first got her, and I didn't believe in all that woo woo shit. I didn't believe in reincarnation. Whenever
I
I got
didn't
her,
either.
I don't know why I so like didn't believe in it. But I heavily did not.
Christianity.
Yeah, I was like, there's no fucking way.
I
Doesn't even
remember
make
when I was
sense.
like 13 or 14 and someone had told me about reincarnation. I was like, what? How is that even possible? I was like, that's not.
You know, like doesn't even
But I
make
remember just
sense.
listening to my iPod and like pondering on reincarnation and being like, I wonder like how that could ever, but like, I think I probably brought it up to my mom and she was like,
I never really thought about it too much until I was in the spiritual realm. Really, honestly, I never really thought about it. I just didn't think it was real. I never thought about it too much. I was like, that doesn't sound right. I look past. I never thought into what. Okay. I look into the concept of why it would happen,
right.
but it makes a lot of sense scientifically, which is why I'm like, I don't know how to notice that. I think it was just the ego. The ego refuses to believe because the ego doesn't reincarnate. So the ego will never believe it.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah,
That's
the ego
fair.
doesn't reincarnate, so the ego will
But your
always
soul,
say
like,
soul is different.
if you're woke in any way, shape, or form, you believe in reincarnation or the possibility of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like
You're just playing a character. You're telling me when this character dies, I'm not gonna make a new one. I'm just gonna quit the game. Why? If I'm not done.
like
with
if
the
I'm
game.
not the mind and I'm not the body, then hello, when
Yeah.
this body dies, where do I
goes-
go? I watch a little movie and then I pick a new body. Really though, you probably like get in line because I've heard the lines are long to get to Earth.
Yeah, it's a learning planet. It's like school.
And the hardest one, it's like the densest.
It's very low vibe.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard the theory? It was like this girl worked with one of the angels, who told her about the Catholic God was also an angel, who or demigod or one of these things that like had bad intentions for humans and wanted to just have this fear-based and like controlling type
Right.
religion, and that's why a lot of like the Old Testament and all of that like fear-based stuff. And so, but apparently the angels have imprisoned this god, so that's why he's not like answering prayers. I saw a crazy TikTok about it and I was like, whoa, that's interesting. I don't know if I believe all that, but
well, I
it
was
was
gonna
interesting
say
to think about.
the theory about it being off of a selfish god that exists other texts as well.
He only wanted
Well, it was in
worship humans to worship him.
It's like in spirit science when they talk about the origin, like with the the Anunnaki, they talk about how they created like they believe that the Anunnaki created this hybrid species and we were like slaves to them.
Right.
And the reason why they were taught that, this dude was like the god was because he needed us to fear him so we would listen to him and be a servant.
Right.
And then the whole theory of like how things changed was that like the devil or the snake that gave him the apple or whatever
was the consciousness.
Well, it was a consciousness in the apple, but the snake itself was according to that like believe the Anunnaki, they believe that it was like one of the others that said this wasn't right, that they're like too sentient and create an actual life. You can't just like dictate them that way.
Right.
And that's who let us out. But I saw a TikTok the other day. And it really blew my mind. Yeah. I saw a TikTok the other day and it really blew my mind. And it was talking about, the apple shit with the Christian belief. And it was like
the Garden of Eden.
Yeah. They were like, yo, I'm just saying, how does this make sense? Okay. If they did not have the ability to know good from bad, right? That's the whole thing. They don't know what good and bad is. It's just things that exist. There's no good, no bad. They just said, do not eat this tree. Do not eat from this tree, because I said so. No context. If they don't know what bad is, even at a definition, how are they supposed to know that they're supposed to feel bad and not supposed to eat the apple? They don't know good from bad. So you telling them they don't know that if they don't listen to you, there's a bad consequence because they don't know good from bad.
Right.
It was set up to fail.
Literally.
Why even put it there if they can't have it? They're like, oh, it's free will. No, it's not. If they didn't know good and bad, they wouldn't have known until they ate the fucking apple.
Right.
So they wouldn't have known.
Here's
that
my
they did the
thing
wrong
that
thing.
I always questioned. Why did they not realize they were naked? Why did that have to be a part of it?
Because allegedly, that's what makes me mad too, because that doesn't even make sense, because the alleged reason is because it's supposed to be shameful. So that's the negative that they saw. They saw that they can use it. That's a bad thing. The Christians are so prudish. Yeah. That's what it was. Like, them noticing that, like, I should be covered. For why, bitch?
See, at this point, I'll shout from the rooftops that I am an ex-Catholic. Like,
yeah. I'm like, no,
emphasis on the ex. Don't group me in with that. My mom tries to tell me, you were baptized. I'm like, not by choice.
I was baptized, but I did it for fun. It was hot.
I love you. I love you.
The fountain looks cool. I mean, being baptized in the fountain, that looks cool.
Honestly, if I could have done it as an adult, I probably would have chose to do it, because that does sound fun. Okay.
Thank you for listening and learning a bit about our human experience. We hope to hear from you and see you next week on our episode. Love and light.